They mocked your silence. They mistook it for weakness. They mistook your stillness for surrender. They mistook your patience for fear. And while they were laughing, while they were whispering your name in rooms you weren't invited into, while they were betting on your collapse, you were listening, you were watching, you were becoming. They thought the story ended when you stopped arguing back. They thought the war was over when you lowered your voice. They thought your quiet meant defeat, but they never understood one thing. Silence is not empty. Silence is a furnace. And inside that furnace, you were being forged. They expected you to explode. They expected you to beg. They expected tears, chaos, dramatic reactions. They wanted noise, because noise would have made them comfortable. Noise would have confirmed their power. If you had shouted back, they could have said, "See, look how unstable you are." If you had fought in their arena, they could have controlled the narrative. But you didn't. You stepped back, and in that step back, something shifted. They were ready for your anger. They were ready for your breakdown. They were ready to watch you fall apart. They were not ready for your discipline. They were not ready for your restraint. They were not ready for your silence. And that confused them. Because when a person stops reacting, stops explaining, stops chasing validation, it means something dangerous is happening. It means they're evolving. They thought you were shrinking, but you were gathering. At first it hurt. Let's not romanticize it. The silence was heavy. It echoed in your chest at night. It made you question yourself. Should I say something? Should I defend myself? Should I prove them wrong? The temptation to respond was loud, louder than their insults, louder than their mockery. But you chose discipline over drama. You chose growth over gossip. And in that choice, you stepped into your power, because silence is not the absence of strength. It is strength under control. While they were talking, you were thinking. While they were laughing, you were learning. While they were trying to provoke you, you were mastering yourself. Do you know how rare that is? To feel fire in your chest and still choose calm. To feel betrayal in your bones and still choose dignity. That is not weakness. That is evolution. You started to see things clearly. You started to notice patterns. You started to understand that their mockery wasn't about you. It was about their insecurity, because your silence held a mirror to them, and they didn't like what they saw. You began transforming in the dark, like a seed buried beneath soil, unseen and underestimated, like coal under pressure, dismissed as worthless. They saw dirt. They didn't see roots forming. They saw stillness. They didn't see strength building beneath the surface. You started waking up earlier, working harder, thinking deeper. You invested in yourself quietly. No announcements, no social media speeches, no grand declarations, just work, relentless, disciplined, focused work. They were waiting for you to crack, but instead, you hardened. Every insult became fuel. Every doubt became discipline. Every laugh behind your back became another brick in the foundation you were building. You stopped trying to convince them and started convincing yourself. You realized something powerful. You don't need to respond to every opinion. You don't need to attend every argument you're invited to. You don't need to prove your worth to people who already decided not to see it. That realization, that was your first rebirth. Did they really think you would stay broken? Did they truly believe their words had the final say over your destiny? They underestimated the fire inside you. They saw your silence and assumed emptiness. But your silence was strategy. Your silence was observation. Your silence was recalibration. And slowly, they began to notice. You weren't reacting anymore. You weren't defending yourself. You weren't chasing their approval. You were moving differently, speaking less, doing more. And that shift made them uncomfortable, because when you stop giving people access to your emotions, you take away their control. When you stop explaining yourself, you remove their power to distort your story. When you stop reacting, you become unpredictable. And unpredictability? That terrifies those who once felt superior. They started whispering again. But this time it wasn't mockery, it was confusion. Why is he so calm? Why doesn't she respond? Doesn't it bother them? Oh, it bothered you. But you learned something they never did. Not every battle deserves your voice. Some battles deserve your silence, because silence forces them to sit with their own noise. You entered your second transformation without even announcing it. Your body stood the same, your face looked the same, but your energy, different, grounded, unshakable. You began walking into rooms without seeking validation. You spoke when necessary. You observed more than you revealed. And suddenly, your presence carried weight. Not because you were loud, but because you were composed. There is something powerful about a person who doesn't need to prove anything, something intimidating about someone who has mastered their reactions. They started feeling it, that shift, that aura, that quiet confidence. They tried to provoke you again. Little comments, subtle jabs, passive-aggressive smiles. But you didn't bite, you didn't flinch, you didn't even blink. And in that moment, the power dynamic flipped, because they realized something terrifying. They could no longer control you. You weren't seeking revenge, you weren't plotting destruction, you were simply outgrowing them, and nothing unsettles insecure people more than being left behind. Your silence turned into focus. Your focus turned into progress. Your progress turned into proof. And proof doesn't need to shout. They began watching you differently. The same people who mocked your stillness now analyzed your movements. The same people who laughed at your restraint now questioned your growth. Because while they stayed in the same cycle, complaining, gossiping, projecting, you elevated, you sharpened your skills, you strengthened your mind, you fortified your spirit, you stopped wasting energy on proving them wrong and started channeling that energy into becoming undeniable. Do you feel that shift? That's power, real power, not loud, not arrogant, not desperate, but stable, solid, self-assured. You realized something else along the way. Silence is not about suppressing your voice. It's about choosing where your voice matters. And you decided your voice mattered in your work, in your discipline, in your growth, not in arguments with people committed to misunderstanding you. That realization was another mini victory, another crown placed on your head in private, another storm survived without announcement. There came a day when you looked back, and you didn't feel anger anymore. You felt gratitude, because their mockery became your motivation. Their doubt became your discipline. Their underestimation became your advantage. If they had supported you, maybe you would have stayed comfortable. If they had praised you, maybe you wouldn't have pushed as hard. But they mocked your silence, and in doing so, they pushed you into your greatness. They thought they were diminishing you. They were refining you. They thought they were isolating you. They were strengthening you. They thought your quiet meant you had nothing to say, but you were writing a new chapter. And now you don't need to prove anything. Your results speak. Your peace speaks. Your boundaries speak. Your presence speaks. And ironically, the louder they were, the more invisible they became, because noise fades, but mastery endures. Now look at you, calm, composed, unshaken. You no longer feel the urge to explain your growth to those who doubted it. You no longer feel the need to respond to every whisper, because you understand something powerful. Not everyone deserves access to your voice. Some people only deserve your silence. And this time, it's not wounded silence. It's powerful silence. It's chosen silence. It's controlled silence. You walk differently now. There's a steadiness in your step, a certainty in your eyes, a calm intensity in your energy. They feel it, even if they don't admit it. And deep down, they regret underestimating you, because they thought silence meant submission. But silence was preparation. They thought you were retreating, but you were reloading. They thought you were weak, but you were wise.